Wondering what to do with your old 401k or 403b? If you've left a job, you may be weighing your old 401k options after leaving that job. Should you move it, keep it, roll over your old 401k, 403b to an IRA? In this week's episode, I'll explain the best options for this old work savings plan, answer the impact on moving it or cashing it out, and share simple retirement planning strategies to maximize your retirement savings. If you're a medical professional or high income earner, this episode is built for you, and you're going to want to stay tuned till the end because I've got a special offer for you. Today, we're diving into a crucial topic for anyone changing jobs. What do you do with your old 401k or IRA? Have you ever wondered, what can I do with an old work 401k or IRA? Well, you're in the right place. In today's world, there's more employment changes than we've ever seen in history. And with each employer change that you make, you may have a 401k or an IRA plan that you set up to save for retirement. So today we're going to talk about what you can do with those old plans. So I want you to think of your old 401k or IRA as an untapped treasure chest from a past adventure. While you've embarked on a new journey with your current job, this chest still holds valuable riches. You have several keys to open it, keep it in the old vault, transfer it to a new vault, or even crafting a personalized lockbox for it. Each choice offers unique benefits and safeguards, ensuring that your treasure grows and continues to grow and support your future quests. First and simplest, you can leave your money in your old employer's plan. While this option seems straightforward, pay attention to potential higher fees and limited investment options. When I say higher fees, it's often tied to the fact that you're no longer an active employee. You've left the company, you're no longer an active employee. So look at it this way. For a company, they have a benefits plan, which often includes a 401k or an IRA option for their employees to save for retirement. They have an active pool of current employees participating in the plan. These are the employees that are still working at the company. Keep in mind, an employer has to pay for a company to manage these accounts for them. They're more motivated to help cover the cost for the active employees versus the ex-employees. So hence, there could be higher fees on your account if you've left the company. They may not be higher, but you're going to want to check this out as a consideration for leaving it there. So this is more common these days in the last few years where they've added extra fees for the people that have already left the company. So this pool of ex-employee accounts may also have different limited investment options than what you had as an employee. So when you go into your account, you may find out that you can't do the same things that you could do while you were there. They also can have their own rules to the plan. So every company has their own written rules to their 401k and their benefits plan. They have to comply with what the government says they have to do, but they can also limit what your accessibility is to the money that's in those accounts. So it's important to know the rules and especially any limitations on the company plan. So option number 2, consider rolling over your 401k to your new employer plan. So this is going to help you consolidate your savings and may offer lower fees and better investment choices. But just like the last slide, you want to understand the rules of the new plan, investment options, and limitations. Okay. You may find out that the new plan has bigger advantages to you, and you may find out that the old plan has more advantages to you. So check the fees and the investment options, and keep in mind that there's nothing wrong with having a plan at more than one employer. From the standpoint of the IRS, they look at it as one bucket of funds, right? You could have 1, you could have 10, but they're all different 401k plans and they're tied to your employers because 401ks are always tied to employment, but only one at the existing employer that has your new employee savings going into the plan. When you start at your new employer, you're going to want to ask, when can you start saving and contributing? And importantly, is there a company match, right? What is a company match? Well, it's their incentive for you to save for your retirement. They'll match up to a % of what you're putting into the plan. I look at this as free money that's going to help you pay taxes later when you're going to take the money out for retirement. So if you can get the company match in a 401k Roth plan, even better. I've got a corporate client in New York City that I do financial literacy webinars for their large staff. They have a fantastic 401k Roth plan for employees, and they can get the match in their Roth. That's about as good as it gets. So I always tell the employees that they will likely never find a plan that's that good in the future. So take advantage of it while they're there. Their next company plan may not be as great. So you want to look at the same for yourself. So another move is rolling over your 401k into an IRA. So this option gives you more control, more investment options, and sometimes lower fees. As an ex-employee, you can roll your old plan to an IRA. It doesn't have to be with a Fidelity or a Vanguard, any of those. It can be to an IRA at your bank. It can be even some place where you can use it for alternative investments. So what is an alternative investment? Alternative investments are things that, the easiest way to explain it is things that wouldn't be the stock market, okay? You may want to invest in real estate. You may want to invest in crypto. You may want to do something else. These are all outside the realm of what you could do at your employer or what you can do in the stock market, okay? So what's really important here is that your money needs to stay in one of these government vehicles. When I say a government vehicle, it's a 401k, it's an IRA, it's a Roth, it's what we call a qualified plan. So we hear that word qualified plan, think about your retirement plan and think about where it is and what the tax rules are associated with it. So why I'm saying this is that you don't want to get a check sent to you, you cash the check, you stick it in an account, and then you start doing your other investing. The best thing to do is to have that money rolled over directly to whatever the new plan is. Don't touch it at all. Okay. So I've got an example of a medical professional that was in Ohio. They were changing jobs. They got a check. They cashed the check. They deposited in an account. And guess what? Because they did it that way, and it wasn't the same apples to apples type of account, they just created a taxable event for themselves. So what does that mean? Because they didn't follow the rules, they can't undo it. Taxable event. Let me give you an example. $100,000. This was $100,000. They now have to pay taxes on $100,000. And even worse, if they're under 59 and a half, which they were, they're going to pay a 10% penalty. And then they're going to pay the taxes, federal and state, on the entire $100,000. So we just want to be very careful when we move it over. I had the same thing happen to me many, many years ago. Similar, I had gotten a check and I rolled it over. I physically got the check. I rolled it over to a new account. The IRS later on were sending me letters. And the issue was that you've got 60 days to roll it over, right? So I rolled it over. I knew it was within 60 days. It was probably close. I couldn't prove it exactly, and they couldn't prove it exactly. So what did they do? They hounded me for a year or two. I finally got it to stop, but we're sitting there arguing about a day or two. And at the end of the day, this wasn't where they were really making a lot of money. So the major point here, when you're moving these funds, do everything that you possibly can to get the funds moved without you handling them. In my example, if he had done that, he could have avoided the tax bill because there would have been a red flag that it wasn't going to the right type of account. It couldn't have happened, right? So if you're making a move and they issue you a check, you got 60 days to get it in the right account. We want to make sure that you prove that you've got the dates. So the easiest way to do it is have it done automatically for you. Okay. Okay. So the burning question may be, why not just cash it out? Well, if you're under 59 and a half, the IRS is going to penalize you with a 10% penalty. Okay, let's go back to that $100,000 example. So if you cashed it out, just like if you put it in the wrong place, they're going to charge you a $10,000 penalty. Okay, now on top of the $10,000 penalty, they're going to charge you the taxes, just like it's income that you're making today. If you are a high wage earner, then you certainly will not want to pay state and federal taxes on another $100,000. Okay, so they treat it just like your income now. When you retire and you start taking the money out and you say you're in a lower tax bracket, they're still treating it like income. And that's one of the big misnomers that people don't seem to understand is all you're doing is deferring the income into the future. So if you're deferring the income into the future, you're deferring or postponing the taxes. They are going to tax you on it just like it's income, just like you're working today. Okay. So, and the last reason here, which I think is kind of the most important, is your current self is responsible for your future self. And you've just robbed your future self of income. All right. So remember back to the beginning in that analogy of a treasure chest. So you just robbed the treasure chest. If you've robbed it now because cost of living is high, maybe your lifestyle, whatever it is, paying off debt, then what's that going to look like later on in life when you actually need that income? So consider these three things and why you wouldn't cash them out. I would do everything that you couldn't to cash it out. So under 59 and a half, 10% penalty. They're going to tax you on the full amount. It's not the full amount less 10%. It's the full amount. And then also you're trying to look after your future. The reason that you save this money in the first place was you're looking for your future. One other comment here that I always tell my HR people when I do these financial literacy webinars, and this is a plug for them, is this 401k, your old IRA, is not meant to be an emergency fund. Again, I'm going to say that. It's not meant to be an emergency fund. Okay, so managing your old 401k IRA, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. So we want you to evaluate your options and make sure that you choose a choice that best fits your future goals. Call it your retirement, your future, whatever it is that you want to do. And I would also add here that for a lot of clients that I work with, there's some great options of how to use these old 401ks to grow safely without market risk, that they can be set up to provide income for as long as they live. So I'm going to say that again. So what if you could take that money, put it someplace, it was not at market risk, it was growing, and then later in life, you're turning that on as an income stream for the rest of your life. So I do that in my practice. Anybody has any questions, you can certainly contact me. Think of it as creating their own pension, what they need for their main bills every month. This is always an option that they're thrilled with and didn't know that they could do. That's why I'm here, to give you a leg up on your financial knowledge and get you the life that you deserve after your life of service. So, are you ready to take control of your financial future? Learn more to optimize your money by watching our masterclass, How to Avoid the 9 Money Mistakes That Medical Professionals Make. I gave this presentation in San Diego at a medical conference, and I had a lot of positive feedback. But the biggest question was, why hasn't anybody ever told us this before? Good question. The information in this masterclass is not out there in the mainstream. I can pretty much promise you that there's something in there about your money that you didn't know. What if, like an early diagnosis on a major illness, you could act on it and prevent it because you know it now? There's information in there that's going to change the way that you're thinking about your money now and in the future. You need to know this now, and I want to get it in front of as many people as I can. So go to medmoneymistakes.com. That's www.medmoneymistakes.com, and watch the masterclass. You'll be glad you did. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.